Hey guys, Jared here, and you can see there's some Dragon Quest XI being played on the side. Today is pretty much going to be one of the, I don't want to say the last videos, but it's probably going to be one of the last videos for Dragon Quest XI on the 3DS outside of the review that I'm going to put together in the next couple of days. I'm currently about 48 hours into Dragon Quest XI on the 3DS. I've already told you all that I have a Let's Play series going to be coming up as soon as it arrives. It's taken forever for the package of Doom to come in. I've got a series of unboxing videos to show you guys, or I'm just going to do one unboxing video that'll be like maybe 40 minutes long or something. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that. So I've got that in the works. I've got the Let's Play series for the PlayStation 4 version, and I'm going to review separately Dragon Quest XI on the 3DS and on the PlayStation 4 once I'm done that Let's Play. But in terms of just these little snippets of videos, unless you guys have other things that you'd like to see, I think that's more or less going to be it for this particular sub-series. And I just want to talk about like some of my late game impressions. I'm not done the game yet, but I think I have maybe 10 to 15 hours left of gameplay. And like I said, I'm around 48 hours, so I'm nearly 50 hours into the adventure. And what do I think? Did it all go downhill or what? Now, if you've played Dragon Quest before, any of the Dragon Quest games, then you know the way more or less how the series works. There's usually a narrative that goes through to a certain point, and something happens, and then, you know, then it goes from there. Like the game usually has this branching path sort of thing. In Dragon Quest VIII, for example, you had like the late game sort of fetch quest thing where you had to go and you had to find those like spirits or whatever it was. And just, I don't want to go into the whole thing, but there's usually something like that, okay, where you have like something changes fundamentally and you have to go and do something. And Dragon Quest IX is no different. There's no spoilers here. I'm not going to be talking about story elements or anything like that, but there's something that happens and it changes the rest of the game, the course of the game. So I am in that second portion of the game, and I don't want to call it second half because I'm really going through quickly this like late game content. So it's not really like the like 50%, if you will. It's probably something like 20 or 25%. But in that late game content, it's where all the different towns change. So they all evolve. Things that used to happen before are changed and no longer happen. So for example, in one village there's now a casino that never happened before. Just things like that, okay? I really don't want to get into spoiler territory here. I've had a lot of questions about people asking about the size of the world, and I actually do think it's smaller than Dragon Quest VIII. I don't think it's quite as large. That being said, when you get the boat, when you have access to the boat, it does unlock the full world, and you can explore all over the place, and that's what I've been doing. There's little islands here, there, everywhere else. It just doesn't feel quite as large. Now again, I'm playing the 3DS version. I know that the PlayStation 4 version is significantly larger, and that's something I discussed before that I thought was really cool. The 2D game is like, you know, like this big, the world. And then the 3D version on the 3DS is like this big. And then the PlayStation 4 version is like that big. Do you get what I mean? Like every version is getting larger and larger and larger in scope, given the technology that's available to them. And I think that's actually really interesting the way they went and did that. So having the boat really does unlock the whole world. And I finally just unlocked the boat in this late game content, and so now I could, you know, explore all over the place again, which is pretty much what I'm going to do. I took some notes so I already mentioned about Dragon Quest VIII, about the world, and that's not disappointing, by the way. I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't look quite as big as Dragon Quest VIII. I don't know if it is. Like I said, I don't know until we compare apples to apples. When I compare the PlayStation 2 version, or even the 3DS version, doesn't really matter, of Dragon Quest VIII with the PlayStation 4 version of Dragon Quest XI, that's where we'll really see it, because those vistas and those environments are going to be significantly larger than they are on the 3DS, and especially the 2D mode. You should see the 2D mode. It's so funny because you just go do 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 do. Oh, there's your destination. But it's designed that way because you have random encounters, so you actually end up leveling a lot quicker by playing the 2D version because you're constantly getting sucked into battle. Whereas if you play the 3D one, you have to actually physically go up and knock the enemy. Well, you don't have to knock them, but if you do, you get a first strike, which is what I always do. Really enjoying my time with the casino. I hit the jackpot, which was really cool. I was sitting here just watching TV, and I was just, grinding out a little bit of the casino, which is what I do. It's not grinding as in fighting, it's just that I was playing the slot machine, and you're just literally just pressing the A button over and over and over and over and over again. And I heard the music play out that I had won something, so I looked down and I was like, oh wow! And I actually won 200,000 tokens or coins or whatever. And now that I'm in the late game content, now it's significantly more. This is where, if you hit the jackpot now, I think you get 1.5 million tokens or something crazy like that. So I'm going to be doing that. I'll be grinding that out a little bit because it's very useful to purchase a lot of the late game gear that you need. And there's also a lot of good stuff that comes with that. Now, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. You'll see it in the Let's Play if you want to. But what I was thinking was, I was thinking of how to talk about this particular thing. The late game scene that happens, or the game-changing scene where you go from, the first half of the story to the second half, or whatever, the 75-25 thing. I don't want to tell you what happens in there, and I don't want to explain all of that, but it seriously extends the length of the game. I have to be vague here because I really don't want to spoil anything for anyone. It's just that whatever happens here, it basically makes you go and have to do something that requires you to re-explore the world. Let's leave it like that. Now, unlike Dragon Quest VII, it's not repetitive. You're not going to sit there and be like, oh god, here we go, I have to revisit all these areas again, oh boy. You do revisit a lot of these key areas again, but it's not... It doesn't feel quite as repetitive. They do it. They handle it really, really well. And I'm gonna stop right there because I really don't want to. I don't want to spoil anything. But needless to say that I thought I was nearing the end of the game at around 35. I want to say around 35 hours or so. And then this big event happened. And I realized, oh wow, I'm gonna have to play at least another 20 to 25 hours in order to finish the game, and that's absolutely right. And Square Enix said that by their estimation, the game takes around 50 hours, give or take, if you, in your first playthrough, but well over 100 if you want to do everything that you can do. And I actually think they're bang on. I'm right around 50 hours right now. And I easily have another 10 to 15 to go because I still have a lot of the world that I haven't explored yet. So that was all that. The story's still going very strong, still really enjoying it, and there's scenes in here that actually surpass Dragon Quest X as some of the most, powerful I've ever seen in a Dragon Quest game. Again, I'm not going to go into all of this. But there are some scenes here that are exceptionally dark, and I didn't really expect that. That kind of threw me for a loop there. Very, very, very good stuff. Really having a good time with it. And I really want to see how this wraps up and where it goes from here. And that's pretty much that. So 50 hours in, if I were to review this game right now, I'd say this is a phenomenal game that Dragon Quest and RPG fans as a whole would really like. I finally unlocked all the last of the tile systems or panels or whatever you want to call them. Basically, when you level up, you get it's like a grid, and you get to unlock different things. It evolves as you progress in the game, and I thought that was really cool. I didn't expect that. So there's a lot of content here. It's going to take me, well over 150 hours probably to experience everything that the game has to offer, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to say where I place it in my top 10, top 5, but it's certainly entered the top 5. The story is fantastic, the world is great, the characters are phenomenal, and I love the fact that there are no bad characters in the game. They all work well. Certain combinations work better than other combinations, of course, but overall, Dragon Quest XI is a game you should be very excited for. And like I said, I'm going to have a review coming out shortly, and this is definitely like the 9.4, 9.6, you know, like it would, if I were to give it a score, it'd be within that range. A really awesome game. Unless something happens now, it's just fantastic, and I love what they did with the late game content. It does not at all feel repetitive. It doesn't feel like they did this to artificially extend the length of the game. It's part of the story and it makes sense. And with that, that's it. And if you guys want any other videos outside of the Let's Play that should start next week, probably maybe Wednesday-ish, I should have the first episode up. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. Just let me know, though, if there's any other videos that you guys like to see about Dragon Quest XI in the meantime. Leave me a comment, let me know. Alright guys, I'm going to go finish this game. Catch y'all later.